to Sew with Monty, and I want to show you today a hem tuck. Now a hem tuck can be used in many different places. It's really nice to use it to hem a man's shirt, a short sleeve shirt, or a woman's short sleeve shirt, either one. It's also a good way to add a fake cuff to a pair of pants when you don't have enough length to do all the proper folding that it takes to do a cuff. This is the previous where we did the cuff. So it takes a little bit more length on it to do this than it does to do the hem tuck and do a faux cuff. It's also a good way to do vertically and make a faux placket on a shirt. So we're going to show you how to do that. Now my little sample here, this would be the body of the garment, and here's my fold line. And I've placed it on the fold, so I have cut twice the width of my little panel. Now I've drawn a line, if you can see here, where the hem is going to get folded. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to fold it up and press it. Prior to doing that though, we're going to sew this seam up with a 1/2 inch seam allowance and press it open. Then we're going to turn this up and press it so that we're ready to do our hem tuck. This is a real quick, little easy thing to do, but so fun to learn because you can apply it in so many different areas. So let me go ahead and sew this up, and I'll take you to the ironing board and I'll show you how to press it and then on to sewing it. Now we're ready to fold our hem to create our hem tuck. I really love the finish of this. It's such a great way to make a garment look really special without a lot of extra yardage and a lot of folding and a lot of complications that the regular cuff takes. So here's our fold line, and we're just going to simply fold up and pin right along our fold line. Now I've chosen a 2-inch allowance here. That's kind of thick, but you can do whatever you want. I mean, you could do it as small as 3/4 of an inch if you chose to do it. So if you're doing something delicate, like a little dirndl skirt, let's say, and you want a cute little hem on it, but you don't want to add a lot of bulk to it, you want it just to be soft, maybe out of a batiste or a cotton lawn, this makes a beautiful little hem for this. So size of your stitching and size of the hem, the depth of the hem, can vary. And all I'm doing is just going inside, checking where my fold line is, and folding it up on there, just to make sure that I am right on that fold line. I don't want it crooked because you want it to be nice and clean. So once I have it folded, I'm just going to check and make sure it's even all the way around, just like that. And then we're going to press it. Again, not pressing my two sides. I'm just going to press the center, and then I'm going to rotate the sides and let them become the center and press it. That way I don't press a crease in my fabric where I don't want one. Just like that. Very simple. Now the next step is we're going to turn it one more time, and this time we're going to turn it, and we're going to turn it right on the edge of the fabric. So you're going to double fold this, and I'm going to pin it as I go, making sure that this time I fold it right on the edge of my fabric. See, just hold it right where that hem line is and flip it up, and you can reuse your pins that you have in here. Make sure you don't make double sure you don't sew a pin in there. So get all the pins you had in there before out, because you don't want to sew them inside your cuff, and let's say you give this away as a gift and someone keeps getting stabbed in the ankle. So be very careful not to sew a pin inside your cuff here. So as I go along, I'm just going to take my pins out and reuse them on the outside. That way I make sure I don't accidentally sew one inside. Alright, so once you have it folded up for the second time, making sure you're right on the edge of the fabric is where your fold line will be, right where you folded it up the first time. Then you're going to press it again, same method. Don't press the sides because you don't want to press an unwanted crease in there. And then just rotate it over so the sides become the center, and press it again. See, just like that. Now, what we're going to do here is along this edge, the second fold, we're going to put a top stitch. And you can come in as far as you want, as little or as far as you want. But you want to make sure wherever you go that you're catching the raw edge of this hem inside here as you sew. So you could do a fat 1/8, you could do 3/16, you could do a 1/4, you could even do a 1/2. I'm going to go for a 1/4 inch top stitch all the way around through here. And I'm going to use a contrast thread so you can see it. You don't have to use contrast if you're making something you may not want to use contrast. But you definitely want to make sure you're catching that raw edge of your hem. So let's go back to the sewing machine, and I'll show you how to finish this off. I'm all set up to sew my top stitch on my hem tuck. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch spacing, and how I've determined that spacing is I've got my needle in the left hand position, and I've lined the fold, my fabric, the second fold, up with the inside tine of my foot. And if I keep focus on the fold of my fabric being lined up with the inside tine of that foot, I should be okay. Using a 3 stitch length, I'm going to just go right around through here. I'm going to get a little closer to my seam, and I'm just going to go very gently, start off. Now you don't have to back up on here. If you overlap, backing up twice just makes it look bulky, so I'm not going to back up when I start off. I'm just going to do a small back up when I finish. So I'm just going to come around through here, keeping my speed nice and steady, not too fast, because you want to keep it nice and even. And I'm focusing on this little area right here where that fold is lining up with my foot. And as I go along through here, nice and easy, nice and slow, I'm going to go all the way around and back to the other side. And if you have a plate where you can take this off the table, off your machine, it's really handy to slip this on here instead of trying to sew in a circle on your machine. Now right here, coming back, I want to line up with my stitch, and then when I do about 2 or 3 stitches, I'm just going to back up very short distance, maybe 2 or 3 stitches back, because I don't want to make a big bulk here. And then once I have that, I'm going to pull it out and trim all my strings off. I'll get my little scissors, which are over at the ironing board, and I'll finish that. Now let me unpin this, and I want to show you what it looks like. It's so lovely. So I'm going to turn it up, and then I'm going to turn it inside out. And we're going to talk about this before we finish off. Now I still have threads, and we'll trim those. But as you can see, this little stitch makes an adorable little faux cuff without really being a cuff. See, on the inside, all it is it's clean finished. Your seam's up inside there. You don't have to do any serging, you don't have to do any zigzagging, nothing to finish the edge. But see how nice it looks inside? It's as pretty inside as it is on the outside. And then, if I wanted to, I could come back in here and I could put another stitch along the bottom and make it like a placket. So if I were doing a placket on a shirt, of course it would be straight, not in a circle. I could do another stitch right here and make a placket on a shirt, or adorn my faux cuff by doing the same thing. Put a little stitch the same distance from this fold over here, and it makes a really cute little finish. Let me trim my strings and I'll show you what it looks like. So you just press it out like this, another string. You would just press it out like this, see, and there's your cuff. See, it looks like a cuff, but it's really just a hem tuck. Oops.